What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel to talk 4K Blu-rays. And today's 4K takes us back to 1985 for the quintessential coming-of-age film for Gen Xers, The Breakfast Club. For the first time being available on 4K, Criterion put out this 2-disc set. Let's check it out. I'm really glad that they went back to the clamshell designs because they'll fit in my shelving unit now. 4K disc and a Blu-ray disc. And then we get this nice pamphlet with a short story, short essay you could say. It does talk a little bit about the movie. But there's a short essay by David Camp. He's like a film historian. And then it also talks about how this was restored. The short essay, it's a good read because it talks about John Hughes' inspiration for this film and some of the other films that came out around the same period, like 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. So, Criterion with the banger set. Ask anybody from Gen X to name the movies that helped shape their childhood, and chances are The Breakfast Club is going to be in that list. A movie that spoke to so many kids growing up in the 80s and the 90s. Those kids could relate to one of the 5 kids in this movie. Those 5 kids, though different, they all had similar issues under the surface. And they all had unattainable expectations set by their parents. This film does a great job of showing the teen angst and issues of growing up in that era. And did a good job with it too. You know, one thing that's funny, every time I hear the song, Don't You Forget About Me, I always look up and think that Judd Nelson is going to walk across the room or outside and put his fist in the air. This movie was the inception of a group of actors called the Brat Pack. Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, and Anthony Michael Hall. They were all up-and-coming actors in the 1980s, and they starred in a lot of these coming-of-age films. Labels aside, the 5 of them did a terrific job in this flick. As the brain, the athlete, the basket case, the princess, and the criminal. And they all spent one Saturday learning about each other and each other's issues. In addition, even the vice principal, Richard Vernon, got a little bit of humbling in this, from the lowly janitor. Let's get into it.
High school. Sure.
On one Saturday in March of 1984, 5 unknown teenagers enter the Shermer High School to spend the day in detention, overseen by Vice Principal Richard Vernon. He gives them one task: to write a 1,000-page essay about why they are there and who they are. Even though they are shy and defensive at first, the 5 eventually let their guards down, and they all discover that the 5 have more in common than they thought. They all have their own sets of issues, and are all being pushed by their parents for what they want, but not what the kids want. They all discover that these unattainable expectations are creating angst and resentment. The 5 emerge from detention as friends with a newfound look on life.
See you next Saturday. Yeah.
This new 4K transfer from Criterion is terrific from start to finish. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, the quality was typically VHS or TV quality. This new 1.85:1 image in Dolby Vision HDR is the best it has ever looked. The amount of detail in this 40-year-old film is on full display with excellent clarity, sharpness, and contrast. The actors look terrific with exceptional skin detail. Colors were also very vibrant and offered superior depth. The film was lit very well, so there weren't many dark scenes. However, the shadow detail and contrast in those darker images of the screen did look great. Criterion did a good job in this transfer, 9 out of 10. Audio was presented in the original mono track, as well as a 5.1 DTS HD track. I switched back and forth and really didn't prefer one or the other. The film is mainly front soundstage focused with some highlights from the musical numbers. For this movie, you didn't need much here, but what we got was fine. It's mainly dialogue and music, and both were clean and clear. 8 out of 10. The special features are all on the Blu-ray disc. You had an audio commentary with Judd Nelson and Anthony Michael Hall, 52 minutes of deleted scenes, a look at the making of this film by John Hughes, an hour of cast and crew interviews, several interviews with John Hughes, a press kit, and a few other featurettes and interviews. There's about 3 hours of stuff here. 10 out of 10 for the features. This should be a required watch for anybody growing up through their teenage years. After 40 years of this film, it's just as relevant as it was back then. Timeless. I'd rate this film a 10 out of 10. And this release from Criterion also gets a 10. Well, that's today's review. Come back again. See what else we're watching.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share, bruh.